Barbados, get up. Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning, 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 morning. Good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning to you. Good morning Barbados, good morning. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Morning to you.
Good morning to you. It is Monday, October 14th. Great to have you joining us for another Morning Barbados presentation. Wherever you are, whether here in Barbados or across the world, it's good to have you in company. And thank you so much for welcoming us into your homes or offices, as the case may be. I can't judge. You might be in another part of the world and it's afternoon or night or something like that. But it's good to have you with us for today's program. We want to start by talking about something that happened late last week. Of course, there was a presentation online. We shared a lot about it and we encouraged you to join in to watch. If you didn't have a chance to look into it, we're going to catch you up. Make sure you get all caught up on the discussion that took place. So joining us on set this morning is Dr. Henderson Carter, who's Senior Lecturer in History, Department of History and Philosophy at the University of the West Indies Cave Hill campus. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, Tisha.
Good to have you in studio this morning. And joining us remotely is Dr. Derek O'Brien, Reader in Public Law, Oxford Brookes University, England. Good morning and welcome, or good afternoon to you.
Good morning, Tisha. It's not quite afternoon yet. It's only it's 11 o'clock.
Well,
here
let
in
me
the
stick
UK.
to good day.
Good day. Yeah, that's fine.
Very, very British. Professor Hamid Ghani, Professor of Constitutional Affairs and Parliamentary Studies and Honorary Professor of the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies, UWE St. Augustine, also joins us this morning. So good morning to you as well.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right, so Dr. Carter, I'm going to start with you to set the table for why it was timely to have a discussion like this, Republicanism in the Commonwealth Caribbean webinar. Why is it important to have a discussion like this at this particular time?
I think we in the Caribbean are at an important moment in our constitutional history. And as you know, in 2021, Barbados moved towards republicanism. And in the Caribbean, there was discussion about the impact of that republican status on Caribbean societies, especially Caribbean societies that were still monarchical. And of course, we also have discussion about moving towards republicanism in other places like Canada, Australia, discussion, and of course referendum in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So the issue of republicanism is a topic that is within the Caribbean space, because as you look at it, only 3 Caribbean countries have gone republic. That is Guyana and Trinidad and Tobago and Dominica. And I think it is important for us to look at our constitutions and to chart a way forward, because most of our Caribbean countries have got independence in the 1960s, 70s, but there's still many others who are still wedded to the British Crown. And I think it is important for the people and governments to get into this discussion about republican status.
And that was especially brought to the fore, I think, when Barbados made that move, because we saw a lot of discussion by Jamaicans, both across the diaspora and here in the region, who were saying, well, why haven't we gotten to that stage? During your presentation, Dr. O'Brien, you talked about some of the challenges into Jamaica that might be hindering them moving to that stage, including not having political consensus and a few other things. Talk to us now about those challenges and how they might be hindering Jamaica from moving to Republican status.
Yes, thanks, Tisha. Yes, I mean, I think Jamaica is fascinating for a number of reasons. One is that Jamaica was in the vanguard of the independence movement in the 1960s, and together with Trinidad and Tobago was one of the first countries in the region to gain independence. Just over a decade later, Trinidad and Tobago had become a republic, and yet 50 years later, Jamaica remains a constitutional monarchy. And I think what also makes Jamaica fascinating, the second reason, is just how tortuous the process of becoming a republic has been in Jamaica. It was first talked about back in 1972 when Michael Manley set up a constitutional reform commission and planned to hold a referendum on becoming a republic by 1981. That didn't happen. And since then, power has swung backwards and forwards between the two main political parties. There have been a number of constitutional reform commissions and joint select committees of parliament, which have not moved it forward towards becoming a republic. In 2020, the new JLP government promised a referendum on becoming a republic by 2025, and it now seems that might not happen after all. The reasons for it are intimately connected with the fact that, unlike Barbados, Jamaica will need to hold a referendum if it's to become a republic. And Jamaica will be the first country in the region to hold a referendum on whether to become a republic, and indeed only the third country in the entire Commonwealth to hold a referendum on whether the country should become a republic, the other two being the Gambia and Australia. The problems for Jamaica are twofold. I think one is the opinion polls, which previously favoured republicanism, now seem to be the Court of Appeal. And the opposition party have now said that they refused to sign off on the report of the Constitutional Reform Committee, which had recommended becoming a republic. And it may be they won't lend their support in a referendum, if there is to be a referendum on Jamaica becoming a republic, if there is not also within that referendum a question on whether Jamaica should replace the Privy Council with the Caribbean Court of Justice. So I think those are the challenges that are facing Jamaica.
And that's a lot. Now, as we head south and move over to you, Professor Ghani, what are some of the challenges, or rather, what are some of the things that other Caribbean islands who might be moving toward republicanism, what are some of the things that they can learn from Trinidad's experience within the context of the balance of power between the president and the prime minister of that country?
Yes, well, thank you, and good morning to you and your viewers and my colleagues. I think one of the things that we need to appreciate is that there are only 4 republics in the Commonwealth Caribbean, and this is spreading over a period of time from 1970, when Guyana became a republic, 76 Trinidad and Tobago, 1978 Dominica became a republic at independence, and Barbados in 2021. And that gap between 1978 and 2021 is, that 43-year period is one that suggested that there really is not an energy to pursue republicanism in the wider Commonwealth Caribbean, because many governments, with the exception of St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2009, have not really put it on the agenda for constitutional reform in respect of a bill that attempts to bring republicanism and so on. So that we have that to deal with. The issue in Trinidad and Tobago is that we've had the experience with this quasi-ceremonial model, not ceremonial, quasi-ceremonial, whereby the president is expected to act on the advice of cabinet, or a minister acting under the general authority of the cabinet. And largely speaking, the other powers are exceptions to the rule, which is, consultation or discretion, as the case might be. But there have been conflicts between the prime minister and the president over the years in Trinidad and Tobago, particularly at the beginning of the millennium, when Prime Minister A.N.R. Robinson and then Prime Minister Baz Diopande had their moments between them, with the president openly refusing to act on the advice of the prime minister in a number of instances, appointment of senators and other issues that arose. And that is one of the things about having dual sources of authority once you move off from the previous arrangements where you had the governor general arrangement with the prime minister. So that unless you establish the rules of the game, and you have certain conventions that attach to those rules, you could have some areas of turbulence from time to time. And that is one of the challenges that one has to look at. And it tends to occur when there is either a new government coming in and a president who was chosen from before remaining there, or a president going out and a new one coming in, dealing with an administration. And these occasions are occasions that need to be monitored, and therefore the strength of civil society support for the institutions is important. The minute you allow the political partisanship to creep into the presidency, you can have some problems down the road. And therefore, one needs to ensure that you are remaining elevated above the process in terms of how the process is going to play out, and the evolution of certain conventions. And that's very important, those conventions that evolve, because they will lie at the heart of how the system of government is going to function.
You know, that's a lot to kind of take in. I myself can't even see how we can move past political partisanship when we talk about the appointment of maybe a president in the way that we've been doing it. Let's come home now to Barbados, Dr. Carter. And as Professor Ghani mentioned a little earlier in his presentation, a lot of this is guided by what happened in the past. Such is the case in Barbados. So how does all that happened historically, how did that guide Barbados toward republicanism? All these years later, from the 70s to the 2000s, is quite a stretch.
Thank you. My paper asked the question, why did it take so long, 55 years, for Barbados to move towards republicanism? We gained independence in 1966, but then it took a long time. And I raised 4 points. First, I raised the point about the importation of British culture in Barbados. That culture that sought to give expression to what I call British celebrations. For example, we had in Barbados celebratory days such as Guy Fawkes Day.
I knew you'd say that first.
Yeah, Guy Fawkes Day.
Guy Fawkes Day.
We had Empire Day. We even had a Peacemakers Day. Of course, Trafalgar's Day. All of these days, of course, represents British culture. And the idea here was to spread love and spread love for the empire and love for the Queen, deference to the Queen. And that was significant because it kept us wedded to the British monarchy, wedded to the empire long after independence occurred in 1966. The second point I made in the paper was that at independence, Barra was not in any position to move towards republicanism. As a matter of fact, it was the British that had the upper hand. And when Barra went up to Britain in June 1966, the British Prime Minister said to him, well, look, you go back home and get a mandate from the people, hold elections. And elections were held in the same month of independence, in November 1966. And Barra had to come back to do that before Britain considered the independence resolution. And the third point I made in the paper was that at the moment of independence, when, that period, 1965-66, there was considerable opposition to independence alone. As a matter of fact, all the political parties in Barbados, including the Barbados Labour Party, objected to Barra's going to independence without the federation. So there was considerable opposition. Even in Barra's cabinet himself, he had problems. 2 members resigned. So that put Barra on the back foot. and therefore he was in no position to call for a Republican status. And the third point that I made in the paper has to do with what I call the pushback of the certain members in the community after independence. So that in 1979, when the Cox Commission met, the commission reported that Barbados was still not ready for Republican status. Okay? And the final point, the fourth point, I looked at what I call the leadership, decisive leadership of Prime Minister Mortley in charting that path, not going for the referendum, but in making that decision to go for independence. And she was riding on a wave, the crest of a wave, because the year before, there was this petition by Alex Downs to take down Nelson. And that succeeded. And that really showed the Prime Minister that people were moving away from these British symbols.
All right,
Yeah.
so there's so many questions I have. We absolutely do not have enough time, but this is a discussion that carried on. People can go back and take a look at it, and it's so interesting in more reasons than one. As we wrap up, Dr. O'Brien, for you, what do you see as the long-term consequences of Jamaica not moving toward Republican status?
Well, I think the eyes of the, as Dr. Carter, Professor Carter said, I think the eyes of the world are on Jamaica, both within and without the Caribbean region. I think it will be, certainly within the region at least, it will be very discouraging for all the other constitutional monarchies that can only become republics if they do so by way of a referendum. The only exception really is Belize. That there's no requirement to hold a referendum there. So they could go on to become a republic. But
Parliamentarians only. One strand of the debate is to broaden it to include local government authorities in the Electoral College, thereby broadening the base of persons who can have a vote for the president. And the other is to go the route of an outright direct election. And if you wanted to do that, then you would create a competition for the Prime Minister and the Cabinet. So you would need to perhaps merge the two into one. Prime Minister Manning, the late Prime Minister Manning, attempted to start a discussion and dialogue on the issue of an executive presidency. And as time goes by, if there is competition between the presidency and the premiership on the issues of policy and advancing policy positions and taking policy positions, you may have some issues arising there. As it is now, what used to be the throne speech has now given way to a presidential address. So the president no longer reads a speech written by the prime minister that outlines the legislative intent of the government. The president now comes to parliament at the ceremonial opening and delivers a virtual State of the Union address, whereby the president opines on all kinds of issues facing the society that has nothing to do with what the government's legislative agenda will be for the coming year. So that's where you're starting to see the change coming with this evolution. The energy for republicanism in the rest of the Commonwealth Caribbean appears not to be there because we haven't seen any amendments coming forward over the 60 years or so that we've seen independence in the region. And some governments have spoken about it, others have not yet taken a position. So we'll see where this is going to go. The Jamaica case is a very interesting one, where the government is offering to go forward with republicanism, but is not willing to join the CCJ at this time. And the PNP is forcing the government to add the CCJ to the menu. So we'll see where that debate goes as Jamaica goes into an election year in 2025.
All right, so I want to thank all three of you for coming in and sharing with us this morning. Certainly just the tip of the iceberg, but you can still go online and be able to capture a whole lot more of what was discussed during the review of the Republicanism in the Commonwealth Caribbean webinar that took place just last week to find out a little bit more. And of course, share your opinions about where you think the region should go. We can't talk about this without talking about the things that we've not been able to even agree on as a region moving forward. So much discussion to be had on this. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming in and sharing with us, Dr. Sanderson Carter and Derek O'Brien, and of course, Professor Hamid Garli. Thanks so much for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you haven't seen it, you definitely should go online and look at that webinar. It's time for a break here on Morning Barbados. When we come back, we're taking a look at medicinal marijuana. Stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
So good in a party yet. You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Morning Barbados on this beautiful Monday. Some drizzles in certain parts of the island today, but we don't mind, of course. They call us water scarce. I don't see that with all the lightning and thunder. However, we definitely need to be able to harness that water for life. Joining us now, we have Shanika Roberts-Odell, who is CEO acting of the BMCLA, Kim Casey, CEO of Bermuda Cannabis Association and product partner for Carry Genetics, and Dr. Carrie Weldon, who is CEO of Carry Genetics. And we wanted to take a look this morning with the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority, of course, about the theme and all that came through with the recently held conference here in Barbados. So good morning to you, Shanika. Great to have you joining us. I am a little jealous because you're on radio a whole lot more than you are on Morning Barbados, but I do listen in, so it's great to have you sharing with our audience this morning about all the fantastic work you're doing in this area. Now, what do you want Barbadians, what do you want viewers to know as we get started about the work of the authority and how far you've been able to advance the cause, so to speak?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
I really want Bajans to understand that we are working extremely hard at what we do. Our job at the authority is really in the area of regulation. So I issue licenses, I ensure compliance, and I spread education and information about medicinal cannabis and about the medicinal cannabis industry here in Barbados. And that was part of what we were really aiming for with BageCan. Information in the context of education.
Absolutely. Now, you had some players who obviously came into the island. Where does Bermuda sit in the context of medicinal cannabis? Where we are, I would imagine you've been able, through the sessions that you had, to determine, where each place is and how you can kind of integrate what you've learned or look at best practices moving forward and things like that. So where's Bermuda as compared to where we are?
Okay, well, I'm glad you asked. Bermuda right now is medicinally legal, but unfortunately it's unregulated. So coming here to this wonderful conference has definitely shown us the things that we need to do and what's missing and how to fill those gaps. And I'm very thankful for Shanika for the opportunity to come through and learn.
And that's interesting stuff, because usually we think if you're unregulated or you're to a place where you've kind of advanced the cause, and someone else is just starting out like us, so to speak, you might think on the outset you might not be able to share best practice or learn something, but here we are engaging in a very interesting way. And for you, Dr. Weldon, tell us a little bit about Carry Genetics. There you are in the white lab coat, ready to share with us.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to be here. So I'm a biochemist and geneticist, and I'm the founder of Carry Genetics, which is short for Caribbean Genetics. And our main goal is to focus on understanding the unique genetic makeup of us as Caribbean people. And so super excited to be here, because when it comes to medicinal cannabis, not everyone will metabolize cannabis the same. It's really going to depend on your genetics. And so we have a lovely product that we launched with the Bermuda Cannabis Association, which allows people to know how they metabolize THC, how they metabolize CBD, what's the ratio of those two substances in a product, recommends certain dosing, so that we take the guesswork out of medicinal cannabis.
And that's interesting, because one of the things that has hindered mainstream media from getting on board with a lot of the medicine that has come out of the Caribbean is not having, those dosages, or not knowing for sure how it will influence or impact the body. Now, Shaniko, the expo brought together diverse stakeholders. So not only people from outside of Barbados, but you had the health sector, service providers, the Rastafarian community, which brings a whole other discussion. Talk to us about your full stop, the aim of the conference, and were you able to get through all of the markers that you needed to?
Yes, I think we really did. We wanted to bring together each and every stakeholder in some form, shape, or capacity. We made the conference free so that the public could come. We invested in inviting doctors, nurses, pharmacists. We invested in inviting, a wide variety of stakeholders so we could share information. Now, information without the context of education leads to misinformation. And we wanted to kind of take the bull by the horns. That's why I do the radio program. That's why we printed 10,000 copies of the patient guide and put them in the newspapers. Because we understand that in this space of silence, someone will fill it, and they'll most likely fill it with the wrong information. And you can't take something that you've been telling people for decades is dope, stay away from it, and just open the door and think to themselves, oh yes, they're going to get it. They're not going to.
And not dope in the way that we would think. Like,
Agreed.
Exactly.
Most definitely. And I think we really did that. I want to say a big thank you to my regional partners, Jamaica, St. Kitts, St. Vincent, Antigua and Barbuda, and St. Lucia. Those regulators came in as well, and they were able to bring some of their producers so that Barbadians got an idea to see and to smell and to look at what can happen. It's not just a matter of smokables. There are also oils, tinctures, vapes, creams, all those kind of things. Now, vapes and smokables aren't allowed in our industry at this point in time. But the point is you could see that there's a wider variety. And I want to thank all the scientists and doctors who came in. And they were able to speak to the medical community. I always tell them, it takes a doctor to speak to a doctor. And I was really happy that they were able to be here and to transmit that information and to move the thought process forward.
And speaking of moving the thought process forward, not only here in Barbados, but across the globe, we've been hearing about challenges with banking and IP and regulations in terms of moving it forward. What's happening in those areas in Bermuda?
That's just it. There's nothing happening. And that was another reason for us to come out and find out what is being done so we can at least give ideas to our community and our legislators to start thinking about a process in banking, because that's one of our hiccups as well.
And why did you, as an authority, you're CEO of the Bermuda Cannabis Association, why did you determine that you were going to partner with Carry Genetics?
We had a conversation and just realizing that her product can help a lot of doctors to prescribe, and they already have an issue doing it in the first place. So I just thought it was just an excellent tool to provide and being back, really.
What are some of the cutting edge things that you're working with, whether it's technology and equipment or being able to kind of bring people on board with Carry Genetics? Now I'm extremely intrigued.
Yes, I'm very excited. So we actually on Friday shared our 2-year anniversary with the conference as a company. When I launched it, it was just myself, no money, just an idea. So far we've done a breast cancer study. So I see you have the breast cancer flag. We've done the in Bermuda pilot study. We found new genetic markers for breast cancer in Bermudian women. And we're looking to expand that, and we're looking to do prostate cancer. But super excited, we were able to showcase not just the medicinal cannabis product at the conference, but we have a fitness DNA test, a nutrition DNA test, skincare DNA test, personality DNA test. And what we actually did, which was kind of unprecedented, is we gave away 100 free tests at the conference. So, and they all went. So they took advantage, all the attendees, so they will get the results in a few weeks. And now what we're doing is we are personalizing the health and wellness journey for everyone.
All of this is so very interesting. Look at this, finding new markers for breast cancer, which says a great deal. We're moving beyond just looking at cannabis generally and being able, through this genetic testing, to be able to find out more about our communities as well. So it's wider in scope than many people might think.
Most definitely. I think people view cannabis through the narrow lens that we've been forced to kind of look at it over the years. And I think that there is scope and possibility for us to open doors for many other things. When I saw Karika's work through Kim, I felt it was really, really important that we bring that to the table, because her work is far more than just cannabis. But cannabis has the ability to be used in so many different treatments for so many different ailments. And that's one of the reasons why in Barbados we haven't limited the doctors in how they can prescribe it. That's between you and the doctor. We have gone to the point of allowing all the doctors to be able to prescribe and to be able to create that space of trust and growth and, you know, really a knowledge sharing between patient and the doctor, so that people understand, yes, I'm creating an industry. Yes, we're working towards that, but we're also doing this for the point of making medicine cheaper for Barbadians. And that is the real purpose of what we're doing.
And finally, next steps.
Lots of next steps. So at the conference, we signed an MOU with M-Money. That is to help us with the local banking situation. We signed an MOU with Export Barbados. That is to help us to really advance all of the other aspects that we need to do in areas of marketing, in areas of actual physical locations for laboratory and such. And we signed an MOU with the Caribbean Cannabis Forum, and that is between St. Kitts, St. Lucia, now Barbados, Antigua, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And that is for us to take a serious look at how we work together, because we talk about cannabis here in the Caribbean, but there are conversations in boardrooms in Geneva about how they're going to regulate cannabis and how they're going to ascribe cannabis. And I think particularly we need to take the fight to them, particularly for the Rastafari community. Now, there are lots of issues between long-standing historic issues, and the Rastafari community have earned grievances, absolutely. But we also need to come together, and we need to be advocates for them, not just at home, but overseas, because their connection to the plant in a lot of ways that are beyond my scope is really important. And we're trying our best to see how we can work together as islands to protect that on the overseas issue.
Yeah, I mean, at the basic level, you know, for for many, many years, you've been saying, this is what it is, and everybody's been saying, no, it's not. And now they're saying, yes, it is. So, you know, the onus really is on us to take that fight, as you mentioned, to the wider world. Thank you all for coming. I know you're going to be jet setting. Great to hear about these next steps. We definitely have to have far more conversations about this. Shanika, the line has been drawn in the sand. You know, come off of radio, bring the beautiful face onto TV, and travel safely, ladies. It was wonderful having you in Barbados at this conference. Based on all reports, I think that you were able to make some strong inroads in very positive ways. So again, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll be seeing Shanika back. Shanika Roberts-Odo, CEO of the Barbados Medicinal Cannabis Licensing Authority. I won't say that again, BMCLA. And of course, we had Kim Casey, CEO of the Bermuda Cannabis Association, and also product partner for Carigenics, and Dr. Karika Weldon. We'll be checking in with her from time to time. She's CEO of Carigenetics as well, sharing with us this morning. Hey, it's time for another break as we head up quickly to the 7 o'clock hour. Do stay with us, though. We have lots more coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
I never feel so good in a party yet.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oistins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, so just about 12 minutes to go before 7 o'clock. I have some of my favorite people joining me in studio now. Teachers! Yes, so welcome to Sharice Rock, who is Public Relations Officer of the Barbados Union of Teachers. Good to have you here.
Good morning, it's good to be here.
Good to have you. And also is Stacia Springer, who's an executive member of the BUT as well.
Thank you.
All right, so we're here to talk about the annual Teachers Week of activities. So we were talking, before we started about, I know there's Teachers Professional Day, but there's also a Teacher Appreciation Day.
Yes.
So let's start there and make the differentiation.
Okay, we'll dial it back a bit. We start on Sunday, that's the 20th of October, with a church service, always thanks to God. We're going to Sanctuary Employment Center on Country Road, and church service is at 10 o'clock.
Before we talk about the activities, I wanted to talk about these 2 days and the significance of the 2 days.
We're going to bring them in.
Yeah.
On Tuesday is our next day. That's National Teacher Appreciation Day.
Okay.
And Stacia is going to talk about what we have planned for that day.
I want to talk about the significance of the day, apart from, what's planned for that day, Stacia. When did it start? What's the exodus behind having a Teacher Appreciation Day in addition to the Teachers Professional Day? It's kind of, where I'm going with this.
Yes, the Teachers Appreciation Day, we have to appreciate our teachers.
Absolutely.
We need the appreciation. And Teachers Professional Day is a day that the Ministry of Education has put out to allow teachers to
engage in professional development.
Engage in professional development.
Example.
Okay, so that's the difference.
That's the difference.
Kind of appreciating ourselves by ourselves and then moving toward other things. Now, the children are usually off for a half-term holiday. This is recent stuff because this wouldn't have happened when we went to school, but now it is a full-on appreciation day. Now, let's talk a little about the activities. You mentioned the church service.
Yes, on Sunday.
That starts on Sunday, and I love that here in Barbados. All weeks of activity usually start with us giving thanks to God. It's important.
Yes.
So where will it take place again?
At Sanctuary Employment Center, that's on Country Road, at 10 o'clock. After that, we'll be going to lunch at Accra. All are invited, of course. On Tuesday, we don't do anything on Monday. On Tuesday, for National Teachers Appreciation Day, we came up with something last year called Top Tier Awards. So that is where Stacia comes in. She's the head of that committee. And this year we are going to be honoring some teachers. She'll tell you about it.
Top Tier Awards. Let's hear more.
Yes. The Top Tier initiative that started last year, we at the BUT decided that we should award and recognize teachers in service. So the committee was set up and we decided to award these teachers. The acronym TIER means a teacher who inspires, encourages, and respects their students and their colleagues. So that's how it started.
I love that.
Yes.
Inspires,
encourages and respects.
And respects. I love that.
Yes.
And most teachers we know do that already.
Yes.
So very interesting. It's going to be an award ceremony. Did you distribute the criteria and how you're going to decide who will be awarded?
Yes, the criteria was circulated and we had a Google form and we selected 20 teachers this year. And the reason behind 20 this year is that Barbados BUT is celebrating its 50th anniversary. So we decided that, it would be nice to award 50 of our members. So that's why we did it. And only 20 of them, though, will be top tier.
I love that. Everybody wants to be top tier. So National Teachers Appreciation Day, October 22nd, the top tier teacher award announcement, and then you have an annual general meeting coming up on that day as well.
Yes. The stewards would meet on that day. They would elect a stewards chair and a stewards secretary to sit on the executive committee for the year 2024 to 2025. We can go on past that. On Wednesday night, we have the 28th annual John Cumberbatch Memorial Lecture. John Cumberbatch is one of our founding members, a past president, now deceased, so we honor him in that way. This year we have Professor Pedro Welch doing the keynote address, and we are going to be following on our theme for the year, Beauty 50 and Beyond. That's on Wednesday night at NUPW headquarters. It starts at 7 p.m. Come out. It's going to be great. It's going to be enlightening. There's going to be time for question and answers as well. And that's on Wednesday. On Thursday, we are going back to NUPW headquarters for our professional development workshop. This is going to go from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We have 2 segments on that day. The morning section is going to be delivered by Mr. Glenn Price. He's in the Ministry of Education, and he's going to be speaking on strategies for teaching mathematics in the classroom. And you could appreciate that. Teachers always have to fine-tune their skills, and so that is going to be quite necessary. In the afternoon, our next section is going to be a panel discussion. Look at my notes.
That's okay. You're allowed to refer to your notes too.
Yes. We're going to have a panel discussion, embracing diversity, equipping teachers for inclusivity. And these are all catchwords that we are hearing these days. The moderator is going to be Sister Marsha Burke. She's our Deputy General Secretary. And our panelists are Lee Carter. She's an education officer dealing specifically with special needs. We have Sister Donna Holder, principal of the Earlison Special School. Gabrielle Davis, a practitioner in special needs as well, as Chantal Morgan. And then we have Mr. Sean Hoyt, who is the ITC at Christchurch Girls. He himself has a disability.
ICC?
ITC, Information Technology Coordinator.
Okay.
Yes. He has a disability, so he will be given that perspective, and he is the parent of a child with a disability as well.
All right, so lots planned. And then, of course, you round it all off on Saturday.
Yes. On Saturday is our 50th anniversary, so we wanted to do it big. So we're going to have a gala. The awards that Stacey spoke about, there's going to be 20 top tier, 20 retirees. We usually honor our retirees every year at the President's Reception. But this year, we're not having the President's Reception. We're doing it in grand style. And who did they leave out? The remaining 10 will be service awards. Those will be for our business partners more so.
Oh, that is wonderful. Sounds like it's going to be a good night to be had by all. 50th anniversary gala, awards, and dinner coming up on Saturday, October 26th. So lots of appreciation for teachers throughout the week. Of course, for you, I'd love to hear about your journey into teaching and your journey with teaching so far.
Well, for me, teaching was a calling. I love children, and even though I did my degree in social work, I thought that teaching was for me. So as soon as I graduated from the university, I went straight to the Ministry of Education, applied, and that's history.
All right. When you go straight to the Ministry of Education, that definitely is a calling. What about you?
I always wanted to be a teacher, and that was my dream.
You like bossing around people?
No.
Talk to the chairs and stuff?
Well, I did that as a child, yes. Yes, but I always wanted to be a teacher, and then into the union, it was a given. I always wanted to represent my peers and their interests and make sure that they're protected. So I joined the best union ever. the Barbados Union of Teachers.
Oh, that's wonderful.
here
What
we are.
school do you teach at right now?
I'm at St. Silas Primary School, the best school in Barbados.
Good morning, St. Silas.
I'm at St. Bernard's Primary School. Yes. Go Team Phoenix.
That is beautiful. Because so we're getting ready for a sports term anyway. So
Yes.
I would imagine lots of team spirit. So thank you.
You're
Before you go, I just
Yes.
want to thank our sponsors this year for the top tier awards. Last year we didn't have sponsors, but this year I think that it is worth mentioning. We have the Barbados Teachers Cooperative Credit Union, the Barbados Beach Club, Republic Bank, Affinity Plus, Chaka Spa at Accra, and the Radisson Hotel. And just letting you know, it's not too late to be a sponsor. So if you want to be a sponsor, you can contact the Union of Teachers at 436-6139.
All right. So as I was saying, thank you for obviously your service and for taking care of the little ones in Barbados. We know that this is a time where they really need nurturing to be able to become the adults and reach the fullest of potential. Yes. So thanks to you and all of the members of the union and indeed all teachers all across Barbados. You'll be hearing a whole lot more in Morning Barbados about Teachers Professional Day, Teachers Appreciation Day, and of course the week of activities. Thank you both.
Thank
You're welcome.
All right, time for another break here on Morning Barbados, but lots more is coming. Do stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Affair segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.bb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
All right, we're chatting behind the scenes even before we get back, but you understand that. You don't expect we will sit here and be quiet until you go to break and come back. So for those people who are not online, you maybe don't get to see what's happening behind the scenes. I want to say good morning to Joan Fulgence, who is member of GLOP, the GLOP committee. Did I get it right, Joan? Fulgence.
Yes.
I told you I would have some fun with that surname. Also here is Kina Gardier, who's a personal style coach.
Yes.
And Jennifer Highland, who is founder of Her Revealed Women's Community.
Good morning, Barbados.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. And wonderful to have
It's a pleasure.
the three of you here sitting with us. I'll start with you, Jennifer. Tell us a little bit about Her Revealed Women's Community and why you found it necessary or why you felt the need to start a community like this.
Absolutely. Thank you for that question. Her Reveal really is centered around women's empowerment. I know there are many women's empowerment communities out there, but I was looking for that one thing that women can garrison around, coalesce around, the issues that women deal with, and the solutions that can be presented to help women navigate, every stage of their life. So that's really, in a nutshell, why I started Her Revealed. And we launched back in May, and this is our second event that we've got coming up.
Wonderful. What are some of the general areas that you focus in on through Her Revealed?
We're looking at financing. We're also looking at, issues, while we're here, menopausal issues that women go through, how to navigate life, your wealth building, and those type of things that women need to understand in terms of building themselves and empowering themselves.
And another part of empowering themselves is kind of getting together. And here now we have Ms. Fulgence talking to us about the Glow Up committee and where the two kind of meet.
Okay, so right now we've had an overwhelming response. We've had oversubscription, so we're actually looking for Glow Up 2.0. And women have to talk about this because this affects all women, all stages of life. So sometimes people have menopause earlier than others. I was talking to my sister-in-law last night and she said she went to the hairdresser and the hairdresser asked her, "Did you just have a hot flash?" And she said, "Yes." "How do you know?" She said, "Because I felt the heat coming from your head." So, this is very important. Women are going to be educated, empowered, elevated. So we're looking for a grand time on Saturday, which is coming up this Saturday with regard to the Glow Up series.
All right, good stuff. So, we're teaming up for this Her Revealed Glow Up Wellness Seminar. And we know a big part of feeling good about yourself is looking good. So Ms. Gardier comes in at this point to talk to us about the importance of being able to step out, not only feeling, but looking the part.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, let me just say that I was extremely excited when Jennifer had called. It was a no-brainer, just jumped on board. And that's because a lot of what I do is, I talk about style, but I talk more about feeling good from within. Because as we know, if you don't feel good from within, then you cannot show it on the outside. So there's a lot of tips that I give, right, that can help women, especially those who are experiencing the M word, as we would say. A lot of it too has to do, it's mental. So again, if you are not feeling good, if you're not feeling yourself, then for me, it is important that you start first from within. Then I can then talk about the transformational tips, the styling tips. How do you show up? The things that you can do in terms of the type of clothing that you wear. So down to the types of material, the types of fabric, because you just spoke of hot flash. And hot flashes, as we know, they can kind of bring some sweat on. But a lot of it too is not only giving you tips of how to show up, but it's also a lot of what type of clothing can you wear as well.
Yeah,
so the outer is important.
Definitely areas that we might look past.
Yes.
But in this part of the world, and with the G word, global warming,
Yes.
we definitely
Yes.
have to be able to climate change.
Yes.
We definitely have to be able to kind of navigate this space to be as comfortable as we can be. What are some of the other areas that you're going to be delving into outside of women's health and style?
I want to just piggyback quickly on the reason behind the Glow Up series. Glow Up is gathering ladies on wellness, understanding perimenopause. And World Menopause Day is on October 18th. And the reason behind why I started is personally the experiences that I've been having. I spoke to a young lady and I said, do you want to come to the event? She was a person friend. She said, oh goodness, no, Jennifer, I'm not menopausal, but you can find me a man. I was like, but you see, at 35, that's when your estrogen levels begin to drop. And you may not necessarily know that you're perimenopause or you're at the beginning of experiencing perimenopause. And, you know, it's good to have this information so that you are aware of what you're likely to go through. Now, as a young lady, when we enter reproduction, it's pain. When we end reproduction, we go through a myriad of pain. And so it's in between there where we need to understand what's happening to our bodies. And so what ladies can expect, as Joan said, is oversubscribed. But we want people to understand and realize that menopause is not the old woman's symptoms or, you know, it is, as long as you have a womb, as long as you have ovaries, you are going to experience menopausal symptoms. And unlike the other maladies like cancer and PCOS, every woman, your aunties, your mummies, your daughters, your nieces are going to experience it. So I think women need to educate themselves as what is likely to happen to them. I'm going to be a nana soon. By the end of the month, I'm going to be a grandmother.
Congratulations.
and Joan, she's she's a experienced granny. And so when people look, you know, and we are young, fresh, you know, and so I'm trying to, from my own personal experience, you know, take the baton and help women to recognize that it's nothing to be ashamed of. You don't have to hide. And so while you can go through depression and anxiety, you may not think that, because you asked me what other things we're focusing on, there's mental health. Menopause brings on depression. Sometimes you feel like, you know, I can't take it anymore. And you're dwelling with people who don't understand what you're going through. Oh, she's moody today, or the doctor said, oh, a whining woman is making an appointment. And so we really need to educate ourselves. So we're looking at mental health. We're looking at the connection between menopause and depression, the science behind menopause, what's happening to your body. And then, you know, you will feel, okay, I can take on life. I can go and, you know, like, kind of, I can dress, you know, and feel. Like, I went to event and I felt more, I looked better than I felt. But it was important for me to get that information. And a lot of women are going to work and they're dwelling with people that don't understand what they're going through. And I think that, and we are trying to get, you know, businesses to understand and corporate Barbados to add this to their wellness programs. And we have a team of women behind the scenes really trying to get the national awareness, you know, around menopause and perimenopause and what to expect.
Oh, that's very, very important. And Joan, I know that for us in this part of the world, we don't usually talk about what's happening on a personal level. So I know you talked about, you know, being an experienced grandma, as Nana, and a lot of people mention that grandparents seem to be getting younger. I think that's not the case. They just are looking younger.
Yes. Exactly.
Because for me, when I thought of a woman 50 or 60, when I was younger, it didn't look like.
Yes, I agree.
It didn't look like you ladies. Absolutely not. So that conversation is important,
needed,
and not only intragenerational, but intergenerational conversation as well. I certainly hope the Glow Up series will work toward bringing that to the fore.
Yes, because that is what we want to do. This generation now is actually talking about it. Before, my aunt, my mother never talked about it. And then there's not only perimenopause, there's actual, you're stuck in the middle with menopause, then you have postmenopause. And you know, you would have a situation where older women would tie up their heads, stay in a house, shut up the house, and then everybody would say, oh, she's crazy, she's mad. But this is the time to talk about it, because we want to inspire women to talk about these things, so that our younger generation, because the Bible says that the older women are supposed to inspire and teach the younger women. So this is what we're here for. And as I said, we want to educate, empower, and inspire women and encourage them to talk even more about it. And as you know, women are more emotional trained in that area. But when it comes to men, no, men don't want to talk, because men go through their stuff as well. So one of the things we want to do is also have a series for men or a session for men, so that they know too that they go through it as well. So we really want to empower women.
A little andropause session for the guys.
Yes.
I'm sure you're going to work with or maybe oversubscribe. Maybe that'll be oversubscribed as well.
Definitely.
And this is also Mental Health Awareness Month, which is important. For you, Keena, we make light sometimes of looking good and the difference it can make to how we feel.
Yeah.
But, based on your experience, what does that do to help in all of the areas that the ladies mentioned, from the workforce to being able to engage with family, just step outside of your home and create a custom of wellness and feeling good about yourself?
Okay, so for me, a lot of the time, so really what we're saying here is that with the M word, a lot of us can sometimes hide behind what I call a mask, right? And that, not knowing, it actually causes a weight. So you realize then that this is where depression can actually start from. You realize that even in terms of, how you see yourself. So when you look into the mirror, as I usually say to my clients, it's a lot about the internal conversations that you're having with yourself. So if we can understand that style has a lot more to do with, or rather your appearance, it really starts from within. So having those conversations which says to you, I am gorgeous still. I am beautiful. I am going through this, but then what can I do, right? So it's really to kind of lay the foundation first in terms of having that internal conversation. And then once we do that, when you find clothing that not only speaks, who you are, or it sends a positive message, it does something to you. I mean, let's admit, if you're feeling down, more often than not as women, we always say, well, let me just grab something bright, or let me grab something that, maybe my favorite dress, or my favorite, maybe even a hairstyle. These are the things that, you're right, I think that we don't necessarily pay attention to. And I think in some cases, we've somehow created this thing where we believe it's more materialized. And it's not necessarily so. I think it's how far you go with it. But I think once you have the tools that says, okay, fine, this is how you want to show up. This is the message I want to say. Knowing that you have the right clothing as well to send that, then the outer can now match the inner.
Yes,
and that's really what it is.
And for us, Jennifer, I think that not only where we are, so not only, when we think about geography, literally, but also who we are in terms of ethnicity also plays into the way that we are able to live through the actual thing and post-menopause. I didn't realize it was 3 stages, people. I need to do a little more research on here. Learning a lot. I didn't know there was a post too. To be able to take the guesswork out of it, I think is important to get, the medical fraternity on board. Because there are some people who think it's a bit of a myth.
Yes.
It's true.
Yes.
It's a taboo.
So how do we move to a place where we're able to get, those voices on board who are sharing more about it in a meaningful way, so that we strip away that mask of menopause that Keena talked about?
Well, it begins here, but there have been women who, for example, Renee Critchlow, who is a perimenopausal coach. She's been going into the workforce, educating HR persons as well. And certainly we have a UK menopause specialist. She's a British menopause specialist. And we have a mental psychologist on board as well. So they're going to be bringing all of the information together to educate women. So we do have the specialists that are going to be speaking at the seminar.
They came here to tell us we can't come, people.
2.0.
So you're getting ready for that one.
Yes.
Quickly, Joan, what was the quick response like? You say it's oversubscribed, but what are you hearing as you go into the conference?
In like 2 days, we were filled up. In like 2 days, we were filled. And people do want to come. And we actually have a waiting list right now.
Wow.
For the 2.0. So we have to tell persons, I'm so sorry, we can't, add anyone at this point in time. But we're looking forward to making it bigger, better, and having more women involved, and having them speak out, and having them educated, as I said, and empowered. That is my buzzword right now, empowered.
All right, good stuff. Glow Up Wellness Seminar. You had me there, and then you added and cocktails.
And cocktails, yes.
Yes, that's important too.
Yes.
So thank you, ladies, for getting up and getting dressed and getting here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
important.
Thank you.
Certainly looking the part.
It was a pleasure.
I could step off. You know, these ladies have already they're there already. You know, the glow up is on. So look out for 2.0. You said it's an online group. How can we join?
We have a WhatsApp community right now, and the subscriber list, we send the information directly. So it's a community, kind of like a closed community, because it's a niche. And so you can contact us certain by calling 829-7474. And they can visit us on our IG page, Her Reveal, and we share the information about what we're doing and the series and campaigns that we have coming up for 2025.
For sure. I think the important word to leave people with is support. And that's certainly what you'll get being a part of the Glow Up Wellness Seminar and cocktails. So make sure that you are a part of that waiting list, or you get on that waiting list to be able to move forward. Great to see you again, Keena.
Thank you.
Same
You too.
thing,
Great to be
Jennifer.
here.
And
Yes.
good to see you. Joan, I don't know, you look familiar. Maybe we met before, but good to meet you, Miss Philjon.
Thank you.
All right, thanks again, ladies.
Thank you so
It's
much.
time for another break here on Morning Barbados. It's just after 7 o'clock, about 7:17, but we're going to take a break here and come back, so stay with us.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Welcome back to Morning Barbados on this Monday. It's not raining in this part of the world. I don't know what's happening where you are, but whatever you're doing, make sure you get out and get there on time. It's important. If you're on time, you're late though. You have to be a little early. I have to tell myself that a lot of the times. You know how it goes. But these early mornings can be quite challenges. No complaints though. What do they say? The early bird catches the worm I'm waiting for the worm. We'll see though. All right, so joining me now is Debian Reader. She's a librarian at St. Leonard's Boys School, and she's an author. Very interesting piece that she's bringing to share with us this morning. Good morning to you, Debian. Good to have you here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me as well.
And I was sweating you a little bit about your name.
Yes, you
because your name is Debian Reader. What's in a name? Pretty interesting. Librarian, now author. So pretty interesting surname to tie into all that you're doing.
Thank you.
As well. So talk to us about the book. This is your first book?
Very first.
Wow, and you decided to write a book on navigating the digital space. It's called Information Literacy and Artificial Intelligence.
Right.
So where does all of this intersect with your profession as librarian?
All right, let me first say thank you for having me. Right, it's really a pleasure to be here. Navigating digital literacy and navigating the digital age with information literacy. Right, people usually don't see the link between information literacy and technology, but they do work hand in hand because you have to be information literate in order to navigate the technology. Right, so seeing the need as coming from back home in Jamaica where library is a subject, right? And I saw the need for students to be information literate. So even though it's a subject, there wasn't a set text for it per se. So that propelled me to start writing the book from back home, but it was finished here. I completed it here.
That's some really interesting stuff. My early years at secondary school, when we talked about library, it played a far greater role in terms of research and being able to get up and garner the information that we need. Now it has changed quite a bit. When people talk about research, they automatically go to the online space.
Precisely.
So what is the intersect for you? And it's interesting you talked about having a subject area called library.
Yes, we do.
I think that's a great initiative that we maybe need to look into here in Barbados if it doesn't already exist. But what are some of the changes that you would have seen in your profession that helped to push you in this direction?
All right. When you are, I know that the students, when they're doing their research, as you alluded to, right, they don't know how to research effectively. They don't know how to search for information effectively. They'll just go online, pull up the information, and you know when you go online, you're talking about the web, so you're getting information from different sources. So you're getting millions of information coming to you. You don't know what to do as a student, and they start suffering from something we call information overload. So library, as a librarian or as a teacher librarian, our key role now is to guide them as to how to choose the appropriate information, right? How to use it, how to cite information, all of that they need to know. That's why it's crucial to have this as a subject.
And that's usually a big challenge at the university level.
Right.
Once students get to the university level, because they don't receive that early conditioning, it's difficult to cite works.
Precisely.
So a lot of children or young people get in trouble for plagiarism. For example. Not necessarily intending to do that, but not necessarily understanding the importance of giving people credit
for their work,
for using their words, for using their work. As far as communication literacy is concerned, you mentioned about getting children computer literate, and I think it's important to preface that with the fact that we often talk about children being so au fait with tech devices, and they're so good on them. But when it comes to being able to do things like send an email or, again, cite a reference or something, there is a breakdown. So does your book kind of delve into all of the ways that you can do that?
It does, because if you, if I may, right, if you look through, right, I define what information literacy is, so you have an understanding. Because as I said before, some persons don't understand what information literacy entails. And then the book goes further to show them how to cite, to teach them how to cite. We give them ways how to research effectively. We have that in there as well, the research process, how to evaluation information sources, all of that is in there. Digital literacy, which is another subject that is coming on stream now, right? And being that technology is coming forth now, it is key that we then know how to become digital literate, right? And information literacy plays a key role again in becoming digital literate.
Let's talk quickly about the relevance of the physical library in this space.
Yes.
You know, there's some that might argue, you know, why books? I had this conversation just this weekend. I have tons and tons and tons of books.
Right.
And, you know, I had someone saying, but, you know, why are you keeping all of these books? It's time to get rid of them. That's nostalgia. Your thoughts on physical libraries in this digital space where pretty much everything is online?
Online. To be honest, you know, at one point in time, it was like we were actually becoming obsolete, the physical library in a sense. And that is one of the things in Jamaica that propelled the Library Association, right, to approach the ministry with regards to vetting the curriculum to see where library is actually effective or is needed. Because it's like there were some schools wanted to do away with the library. And that's how we came about vetting the curriculum, every single subject, pointing out to them where it is needed and all of that. Because it doesn't matter what, the physical library at some point in time, even though we have online libraries, it's going to be needed. And you have some students who still, might not be a lot, but still some of them still love to come to the library and pick up the physical book.
Absolutely.
Right.
Tell me more about that, the process in Jamaica of it. Is it the librarians who vet the curriculum to ensure that you're getting the children ready to be able to get the information from the sources they need and be able to cite it correctly and things like that?
Yes, that's one of our rules. And because, as I said before, some schools wanted to get rid of library science as a subject, as an association, which I was a part of, we had to go into the ministry and vet it to show them that, listen, you need to keep it as a subject because we are needed in these areas to guide the students how to cite sources properly. Even at the university level, at UWI Mona, for example, when I was doing my master's, the paper, we have to send our papers to the librarians for them to look through, see if we cite sources properly, all of that, before actually handing in our papers. So we are still relevant no matter what.
Wow. When you talk about library science as a subject, are you talking about it at the secondary level?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Maybe I've been left out, but I've never heard about library science being taught here in Barbados.
Yes. Well, that was a shocker for me when I came here.
Wow.
Because as a trained teacher librarian, because there's a difference between librarian and teacher librarian, right? As a trained teacher librarian, we taught back home. It was taught, some schools do it from first form to second form, some from first to third, right? At the school that I was at, Calabar High School back home, right, they taught it only at first form. But when the students reach fifth form and sixth form, then the teachers will ask me to have sessions just to refresh them because now they're going on to the university level, right? So they come in to have sessions, so I have to go back over now how to teach them to cite sources, all of that academic writing thing, so that they can avoid plagiarism going to the university level.
And that, of course, is an added layer of assistance, if you want to call it that, for students to be able to have their work vetted instead of submitting it and then having the challenges.
Right.
Now, we've talked so much about the other side that we've talked a little bit about the book. However, it talks about, you know, this brings the importance, the essential skills that secondary school students will need and for higher learning to be able to cope. You also brought artificial intelligence into the loop. Where does that sit?
Right, and that was deliberate, right? Because, and how I learned about AI in terms of assisting students, it was a sister of mine who said to me, hey, you know, they have this ChatGPT thing that you can just put the question, you get the answer and all of that. And she said to me that, because she's a teacher as well, she said the students in Jamaica here are using it a lot and it's causing a problem. So I started to research what this thing is to see how it works and all of that. So I played around with it and realized that, oh, this thing can really help students and it can help teach them how to cheat per se. But digging further into it, I realized that there are some errors in it if you do not have the information literacy skills that will let you get caught. So on LinkedIn, they had a free course going on AI, which I did, and broadened my knowledge on it. And then I just interjected it in my book to show them, all right, because it's going nowhere. The students are going to use it whether or not we like it.
Yes.
Right? So the thing is for us to actually show them how to use it effectively. So that's what I did in the book. Show them, all right, it's here, you can use it, but there's some way to use it effectively and in an ethical manner to avoid plagiarism and all of that.
Absolutely. Outside of that, you know, there's a fight going on even now with those people building these large language models of artificial intelligence about where they're sourcing the data that they're building out these models for from. So, you know, it ties back into everything that you're talking about within the pages of this book in terms of getting it right and giving people credit for their work, which is very, very important.
Yes,
so it's called
important.
Navigating the Digital Age, Information Literacy and Artificial Intelligence, presenting essential skills for secondary schools and higher education, and presented by librarian, teacher, Debian Reader. That's her real name. It's not a moniker. I had to ask. But, you know, it talks about the power of the word. So it's wonderful to have you talking about this. And we certainly would love to have you back as we talk more about the intersect of how we gather, share, manipulate information, and where we're going with artificial intelligence. It's a conversation that really needs to be had from a very early level.
Yes. Yes. And I think before you go though, I think as educators, teachers, we should not shy away from it because it's, as I said before, it's here to stay. It's just for us to understand it and help the students how to use it because they are using it, right? And yes, they have the AI checkers that you can check to see if students actually use AI to get their work done. But just let's help them, right? And just teach them that, listen, if you keep using AI and don't use it effectively, you will not become critical thinkers because that's another thing.
And some of the information is not up to date either. You just need to know that.
Right.
So tell us where we can get this book, Information Literacy and Artificial Intelligence.
All right, for now, you can get it from me directly. You can call me at 243-4750 and make your order.
4750, love it.
Right.
You definitely need to look into it. Lots of things raised this morning that we have to have a conversation on. Conversation has to be extended. So thanks again for coming in, Ms. Reader, and sharing with us. And she's librarian at the St. Leonard's Boys School. So good morning to everybody at St. Leonard's, security, ancillary staff, teachers, students, parents. Good morning to you as well. Thanks for coming in.
All right, but lastly, again, I'm just going to tell some people thanks because I had a lot of support in writing this book, right? You know, first you have to thank God, immediate family, my spouse and my daughter who I use in this book as an example. Extended family, my sister's mother, one of my sisters was the editor for this book as well. Church family, back home, the Roswell SDA, the Golden SDA Church here. Right, Dr. John Mwanza, who played a key role in getting me to publicize this book. Dr. Springer, right, Lovina Springer, she was a reading specialist at St. Leonard's. She assisted me as well. All right, Mrs. Humphrey, and anyone who supported me in any way, shape, or form to get this book out. I thank you.
All right, you're welcome, and thank you for coming in.
You're welcome.
All right, time for another break. Make sure you grab the book, at least to be able to read through it initially. When we come back, we're talking about CAC Games coming up.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love cruise.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of...
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
We're here to celebrate our CSC team heading off to compete in a very specific area, and we really have been sharing on this a whole lot more in recent times. So help me welcome a big cast with us now on Morning Barbados. We have here Shakira Duglin, who is team coach, and she's all decked out in her Barbados colors already. I tried to get as close as I could in my blue and white, but I'm representing for the blue. So we have most of the colors represented. Next to her, we have Danielle Holder, who's competing in body fitness.
That's right. Good morning.
Welcome. Good to have you here. Dr. Michelle Bryan is competing in bikini fitness.
Yes, morning.
Great to have you with us as well. No stranger to the couch, Sanaj Lewis, open bodybuilding and classic bodybuilding, joins us again this morning. He's representing with the bat. Don't worry about the red shoes. That's because he's going to Guyana, and he wanted a little piece of that as well. And seated next to him is Terrell Ford, competing in men's physique. Yes. First of all, congrats to all of you for getting to the place where you're competing for Barbados and representing the country. That in and of itself is quite the honor.
Absolutely.
And I know in this particular area, this particular sport, it calls for a great deal of effort and commitment to get to this stage, competing at the country level and then competing regionally and internationally. So let's talk about the team, Shakira, and all they've been doing to get ready to compete at the CAC level this time around.
There was a huge investment of time. We've had a couple sessions a week where they would come in and display their physiques, and we'll be able to assess their training, either progressing or regressing. Just any way we can help as a group. We would come together but it is really their individual effort and work. I just want to congratulate everybody for just staying on course. It has not been easy. Some of them would have been coming from a prior competition, so they have remained on a prep, which is difficult. So just reaching this point is an accomplishment, whether or not they come off the stage with what they intended to. Just reaching the stage is an accomplishment, and we want to congratulate them all.
All right, good stuff. It truly is an individual thing. I mean, you're moving forward as a team, but we know it calls for a great deal of commitment. With that said, Danielle, tell me a little bit about what initially piqued your interest in this area and how you've been able to build and grow in the sport.
Well, I often say I did not expect to get to this point. It really was just to dip a toe in the water back in May when I did the ABC show, the Intergym show, and from there the bug just got a hold of me. So as Shakira said, it's just been from one competition to the next. So as you rightly said, it's been a lot of dedication, a lot of discipline to stay on that track. But like I said before, it's just something that I wanted to try. My original athletic goal, which I achieved, was to compete in Run Barbados. So I've done a couple of half marathons. So I just wanted to try something new. So that's what led me to this.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. And for you, Dr. Michelle Bryan, Bikini Fitness.
Yes, please.
Yes, what got you to this stage, this place?
Well, just like Daniel, I would say this was not part of the plan. I did 2 shows before. My first show was 2014 Nationals. My second show was ABC in 2017. And then it took me 7 years to get back to Bikini Fitness again. So my plan was to do Nationals, which was in in August, beat my last 2 packages, and then that was going to be the end. However, I did better than I guess I was expecting to. I know I'm representing Barbados, so
the 2 Bajan words we can't get away from. Lo and behold.
Lo and behold. Here we are.
For you, Sanaj, yours has been quite the journey as well, but there have been a lot of high points. But for those people who don't know of that journey, let's talk a bit about that and what has gotten you to this place where you're now heading out to compete for Barbados.
Well, basically, come Saturday, I don't believe it's me competing, just me showing KSM my hard work for the last year. This is my 7th show, 3rd show for the year. Basically, I just want to bring a good package. I believe I have that package. It's just a display come Saturday and Sunday.
Did he just say what competition? Yeah, he said, what competition? I'm just showing off the body. Yeah, that's good stuff. And for you, Terrell, I had an opportunity to see you in action as well. So, you know, did you choose men's physique or did men's physique choose you?
Yeah, I chose men's physique. I would have started in 2018. That would be my first time competing that year. I would have did 4 shows. Did really well next year. I did 5 shows. So, yeah, I chose men's physique, and even though I'm growing, I still kind of choosing it. So, but I enjoy it. This is the category I like a lot, and but yeah, looking forward to competing this weekend. Glad to be back. Glad I made it back on stage this year. Took a break last year, so I'm just excited and ready to go.
All right, so Shakira, I know you're moving into management these days, but you're no stranger to competition. So looking forward to the team participating at this level, this competition, you know, what can they expect and what do you expect as team coach based on the athletes who have been chosen to represent Barbados?
I believe we have an extremely strong team. It has been said a number of times that, you know, the sport is dwindling and so on. But this is a sport that requires a lot of investment to have continual success. So we just want to say thanks for all the competitors who have remained on that path so that we can have a strong team. In terms of going to Guyana, I'm just preparing just to be all hands on deck, just ready for whatever their needs are. It will begin from the time we arrive. Just getting their meals and so on together, water and so on, posing as well over there. Because the weigh-in and registration would be on October the 18th, this Friday, and then the competition starts on Saturday and then continues into Sunday. So it will require all of us to have all of our eyes open, just, you know, ready to move, ready to work, ready to just come off of that stage, accomplishing whatever it is that we have worked towards. And I know we will come away with a lot of hardware. So we're just excited just to see that occur.
Terrell, personal goals.
Personal goal for me, yeah, absolutely to win. Simple and easy.
What about you, Danielle?
To win, obviously, but honestly, the wins have already started. Just to be able to get to this point, and not only that, the person that you become, I know it sounds very cliche, but you have to become a different person to get to this point. The level of dedication, the commitment, the sacrifice. So in and of itself, I've already won. But definitely looking to bring home some hardware, as Shakira had said.
Love that, and that's a great mind space to be in, you know, to start on that premise. Everything else is gravy. No pun intended. Please don't talk about gravy. Whoa, for you, Sanaj.
Basically, my personal goal is just to keep that belief and to bring a positive outcome to the championship this weekend. Just want to beat my best, which I did last year. I went CSE. I placed 4th in my category, so it's to get in the top 3 this year.
Again, he says, what competition? Which is cool as a cucumber. Dr. Michelle?
For me, well, I've never done anything of the sort in terms of representing my country in any way. So this is already an accomplishment for me and my win. But then also just, I really like the team. So as I said, it's my first time doing anything like this. I'm looking forward to the experience with the team, the experience in Guyana, and just enjoying the full experience. No matter the outcome.
You're gonna have a great time in Guyana. That goes without saying. Congratulations, of course, to all of you, and I hope you achieve those personal goals as well as bring back all this hardware that Shakira is talking about. And of course, we invite you to come back and share with us all the successes as well. Once you represent, this weekend is happening, so you guys are flying out later this week.
Yes, on Wednesday.
They're leaving on Wednesday, people. It's here. We were telling you, it's October 19th, and it felt like such a far ways away. Now it's on this weekend. So if you're in Guyana, you can come out and represent for the Barbados team and show them some support. We don't have home court advantage, so we want to hear as many Barbadians cheering for them in the audience as possible. Again, congrats and thanks for coming in and sharing.
Thank you very much.
Our representative for the blue, yellow, and black. A little bit of red over there. All right, time for another break. We're talking health and wellness next.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
There is a saying, you can find a Bajan anywhere. Are you a Bajan living abroad? Or do you know of one who has migrated to another country? Well, we at Mornin Barbados would love to have you or them on our Bajan Afar segment. Share your amazing stories, experiences, and how you have adapted to a new culture. Send us an email to morninbarbados@cbc.vb. And together we will travel the world.
From the beautiful shores of the gem of the Caribbean, Barbados, home of the amazing Harrison's Cave, the tantalizing Oystins Bay Garden, our historic garrison, the indigenous road tennis, and the friendliest people in the world. We are 94.7 FM, the ultimate Bajan experience.
My friend, you don't plan to get it? Oh, Barbados. Hey, I'm KB Clean. Join me 6 a.m. until 10 a.m. right here at 94.7, the best and ultimate Bajan experience. My show is called Bajan to the Bone. Don't miss it, Bajan to the Bone. Weekdays right here and only here on 94.7.
The facts say Morning Barbados reaches an audience of over 50,000 and Newsnight reaches over 56,000. It's simple. When you advertise, you're getting your message to over 50,000 of your potential customers. Make the call to CBC Sales Department today and watch your business grow. Contact us at 467-5559 or email marketing@cbc.bb.
We enjoy a game of dominoes and singing karaoke.
I just love Cool.
When you love me just a little bit longer.
You get to relax and have a drink and listen to some nice music.
It's something different. It's spectacular. It's fabulous. You know, it's a different feeling altogether.
Follow me to Q in the Community this Thursday.
You know why?
While you go about your business, we go about our business, and that is gathering the news. Stay up to date at CBC News Barbados on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Get news update on radio throughout the day. And join us for the CBC News Night at 7 every night. CBC News team is on the job and bringing you the news.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
Hey, just about 7 minutes to go before the 8 o'clock hour, and a great place to wind up today's show talking about the importance of sleep and sleep hygiene. Dr. Dale Brathwaite is back with us as we continue to kind of get ourselves in a good place to be well. So welcome, good morning.
Good morning to you and the viewing and listening audience.
All right.
And those full of technology and watching as well.
For sure. For those people who don't know, tell us a little bit about your background.
Just like the athletes that just left, I've had not bodybuilding competition, but track and field, psychology, sociology, theology, and some more. I'm also a fine artist. I'm a naturopath. I'm an author. Was a husband. Is a daddy.
So lots and lots of experience in this particular area. Now, you want to talk about sleep and sleep hygiene. Even this morning as I came in, the makeup artist, Joanna, was telling me, I just didn't sleep well.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it to get the necessary amount of rest that you should and quality sleep?
Well, one of the things that we have to look at is that your sleep is basically your health booster. And how the human body works, what we're looking at is something called the circadian rhythm. If individuals don't get enough sleep, you will get, excuse the language, sufficient sickness. Because your circadian rhythm measures the issue or works with light and dark, getting to sleep and waking. And as I would have said last program, and then also corroborated by the ophthalmologist at the QEH when he said that you need to take a media rest. I hope I forgot all the right words, but digital rest. Sometimes when you think you're resting, you move from and that was Friday night, I think, you move from the cell phone to the laptop to the this and all the same blue light. And our bodies don't really like that. So what is happening is that your sleep and my sleep is operated by a series of hormones and so forth, and at getting closer to night is the melatonin. Now, when light kicks in is cortisol. Now, if this is happening and we're switching it wrong, we're actually putting our bodies at a deficit because the melatonin kicks in, maybe like what we call in psychology and stuff, a natural drunkenness that is not associated with intoxicants. So you start to get sleepy because outside is getting dark. When outside gets dark, one of the things is that sleep hygiene, as we looked at in the MOOC statement, the issue of remembering to sleep and sleep to remember. If you're not adequately sleeping, your executive functions will decline. The different things that you need to remember, for example, theory. If you're not sleeping, and the different waves of sleep, there are about 4 of them, and it happens cyclical throughout the night, that will be compromised. So you will remember sometimes paper things, reading and reading, but then you will forget functional. So your executive skills will be compromised. So our children will be challenged when you are having a situation, not even you as a father, our children, if they're not sleeping well, you're going to have a situation where our children are operating more on daylight.
So what can we do to maintain this circadian rhythm that you talked about, especially with a modern lifestyle, with everybody, with the cell phones, with the tablets, doing so much on the computers, having the televisions in the bedrooms, the flashing blue lights that the ophthalmologist talked about, as you mentioned. What do we do to get on track?
All right, sleep is a family thing. Television is a family thing. Computer use is a family thing. So that if our children escape and gone in their bedrooms and stuff, I guess you got your iPhone, having that, there was a YouTube or TikTok thing where this child, he and she and they were, the mother came in and the child had a phone between the leaves and she said, "Nice boy, nice little Johnny." And poor Johnny got the phone and when she pull it, phone comes down. No, television watching should be a supervised activity. Likewise, sleep is everybody goes down. You are a mother, as you would have said to us, and being a mother, your children or your child, niece, you've got more than one child, you've got nieces, nephews and stuff, and the children go to sleep better when the household shuts down. So we're having difficulties because the child don't want to sleep because it's unfair. They're watching this, they're watching that. When it should be a family activity like eating food. As I was discussing with some people yesterday, you have no people going to lunch. My God, and everybody on the iPhone and this phone and the next phone. But the boy eating as we would because there's a dopamine factor going on. So we're feeding that rather than our bellies. Then we're asking how we're getting sick. The other thing is that there's a close association with Alzheimer's and lack of sleep. One of the things with sleep is this, that your body actually does its own detoxing when you sleep. So the brain does not carry a lymphatic system. Neck down does. And because of that, sleep now is a point where the brain flushes. It shrinks. And the CSF, cerebral spinal fluid, that is released. It does its work and stuff, and it ships the junk, what is called amyloid delta protein, back into the system, and we get rid of it. If we don't sleep, that does not occur. So learning and memory is compromised.
All right, so this most certainly is not the end of our conversation on sleep and sleep hygiene. We're going to continue this conversation with Dr. Dale Brathwaite so that we're able to get that necessary sleep, but that also that quality sleep that we need. And of course, we're going to share that with you in the coming days and weeks as Dr. Dale Brathwaite continues to come in on Morning Barbados and get us in the right frame of mind. All right, well, that's it for today's show. The time has gone by so quickly. I'm always surprised at how quickly it goes. But you know what they say, time flies when you're having fun. Coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados, we'll have conversations on CARICOM. So Ambassador Comishong is going to be in. We're going to have a discussion on World Food Day. It's a panel discussion coming up. So the NCD Commission will be here as well. Plus the Lions Club of St. Michael, in partnership with the Diabetes and Hypertension Association of Barbados, they're hosting a diabetes awareness quiz among primary school students. And we'll tell you more about that and how you can get involved. That's all coming up tomorrow on Morning Barbados. So have a marvelous Monday today, and we'll see you, God willing, tomorrow. Thank you, Dr. Dale, and bye-bye.
Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Barbados, get up. Good morning, Barbados, good morning.